Hi, this is Stephen Jeffers, and you're watching this video because you're interested in what happens when you click on the link and take part in a POETQ survey. So POETQ is all about comparing people's points of view about a topic. The idea is that everybody has a unique point of view, but when you compare those unique points of view, you often see some patterns of what you might call shared subjectivity or shared viewpoints. To do this, we need to do something called a Q-sort, and that's what POETQ allows us to do. So when you click on the link, you're met with an introduction. Click next, and it might ask you something about your job description. I'm just going to write gobbledygook in here, by the way, and your organisational affiliation, and it might ask you another question about how long you've worked or something like that. If at any time you feel you need some help, just click on help there. This is where it asks you about how clear you are about integrated working in this case, but the question could be different. Just slide the sliders. This part of the survey asks you about levers and barriers. Essentially, what is it that helps or hinders working in an integrated way? So it's asking here to click one lever and one barrier, and when we click next, it then asks us why we think that's the case. Now this is the main part of the survey, and this is the part we call a Q-sort. Essentially there are going to be 40 statements about what integrated care, integration of health and social care is trying to achieve. And if the first statement will be here in grey. You decide whether you agree with it or you disagree with it. If you're not sure or you don't have a particularly strong view about this statement, then drag it into neutral. Now you can either drag it across or you can click in the box. I'm just going to click in the box, and as you can see, the next statement appears. So it's just a case of reading the statement, deciding what you think, and then dragging or clicking in the box until you've placed all 40 statements, and the statements will keep on coming until that's done. So as we've just finished these off, the next part of the process will be about basically constructing a grid. Your point of view in a grid form. So we're going to ask you to refine your preferences about these. Essentially what we're doing is rank ordering these statements, and it's the simplest way of rank ordering. So I'm going to click next. Now what's happened is your most agreeable statements will pop up. So you should be familiar with them by now, but just have a quick look over them and choose the two that you agree with the most. These will be your two most agreeable statements in the final grid. So we'll click next, and what happens is those statements have been placed, and now it asks you, presents you with your most disagreeable statements, and it asks you to choose two again, and these will pop over into the grid. Now your agreeable statements are back, with the two that you chose before have vanished, and so now you choose 4. Now the number it asks for will change depending on the shape of the grid and how many you've got in your agreeable and disagreeable pile. So just follow the instructions, and it will keep on swinging back and forth between your agreeable and your disagreeable statements until eventually all the statements have been placed. So now it's asking for 5 disagreeable statements, and it's asking for 6 agreeable statements. Clearly you might want to take a little bit more time than this. Now it's asking for 3 disagreeable. Finally, we've been presented with a table. As you can see, the 2 you agreed with the most are there, the 2 you disagreed with the most are over here, and your sorting has created this pyramid, and the idea is everybody has a unique pyramid, but when we compare yours with the other people taking this survey, we're going to look for patterns. So this might be an opportunity for you to swap a couple of statements around if you feel that you want to promote them. If you feel you agree with this statement more than this one, why not just drag it across and switch it around. Once you're happy with the shape of your grid, then you can click next. And this is the last part of the survey. It's just going to ask you, why did you agree with the two most agreeable statements, and why did you disagree most with the two at the other end of the grid? And you can write in as much or as little as you want here. So I'm just going to write some text in. It does require you to write something, and this is really helpful for our analysis to try and understand not only what you've sorted, but why people sort in the way they sort and why they choose certain statements. If you have any other comments about the survey, or you have any other feelings that you want to express, please write them in this any other comments part. Then click next, and you'll get a little email thanking you for your time. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful, and I thank you in advance for taking part in a POETQ study.